Greetings to one and all. This is Lookman welcoming you to Jack's Curated Business Ideas. Today's topic is an unusual financial product, or you could call it a financial dispenser. Now, what's the problem? Some earn money monthly but get broke before the next payday. They rely on borrowing money. Now, what could be the solution? You could first and foremost, that's for the earner, you could pay your major bills upon receipt of income. You could pay the agreed amount to the financial dispenser by direct debit or standing order, either monthly or as agreed. Now, what's the business idea? The financial dispenser collects money from clients monthly or as agreed, and then they dispense it every X days as agreed. Now, the X days, it could be every 5 days, it could be every 6 days, 7 days, or whatever is agreed. And now the process can actually be automated and it shall also be transparent. Now, what's the monetization plan for the business? You could charge a fee for carrying out this service. These could be monthly, annually, or as agreed. Options shall be available to the clients. Also, as part of the monetization plan, you could have a sales funnel for complementary products and services. You could also leverage affiliate marketing, and you could optimize your mailing list of all your clients. You could also sell the business template as a license to other businesses who are interested in this business model. Now, how does it work? There shall be a standing order or direct debit from clients. These could be done monthly or as agreed. Then you need to agree on the frequency of dispensation. Of course, you need to have terms and conditions. This must be agreed before the contract begins. And then, of course, you need to sort out any legalities. The money could be dispensed to the at the amount and frequency as agreed. So for all intents and purposes, maybe the client puts in £100 per month, assuming your fee, assuming it's 10%. So you take your £10, and then if they want to split the money, maybe let's say every 5 days. So what you give to the client is 90 divided by 5, and you pay that to them every 5 days. So that's part of how the business model works. Like I've said, you need to dispense this at the amount and frequency as agreed. You need to have information technology systems in place, and you need to automate as necessary. And of course, you need to register your business for legal reasons. Now, let's talk about location. This is recommended to be done locally. Business registration in country of residence. The business shall, however, be internet-based. Now, what are some of the benefits? Now, it solves the problem highlighted above. Those people who are not maybe disciplined enough to spread their money throughout the month, this is an option for them. And also, you could monetize, you could have a mailing list, you could enjoy a monopoly, you could add to societal value, you could create jobs and create wealth, etc. Now, what are some of the threats and weaknesses? Well, because you pay the business, because you pay them a fee for the service, you lose some money, quote unquote. Also, there could be fraud, there could be trust issues, there could be conflict, there could be money laundering, there could be information technology outages, there could be issues with data security, there could be staff absence, there could be litigation, there could be banking problems, etc. Now let's talk about marketing. You could leverage digital marketing, social media marketing, referrals, website, etc. Now, here are some legal things you need to consider. You need to consider having an agreement with all stakeholders or all parties concerned. You need to articulate terms and conditions. You need to be aware of regulations and regulatory bodies. You need to do your business registration. This could be either as a sole trader or limited liability company or otherwise. You need to be aware of litigation. If a client takes you to court for XYZ reason, you need to be prepared for that, etc. Now, let's talk a bit about risk management. Information technology problems could be a risk. Third-party problems could be a risk. Staff absence could be a risk. Internal and external fraud could be a risk. Banking issues could be a risk, etc. Now, what are the requirements for this business? These include information technology infrastructure, a website, software, relevant skills, a team as necessary. You could either do that with a team or you can make it all, you can do it all automatically. Also, as part of requirements, are bank accounts. You need to have a bank account where the money goes into and where the money comes out. You need to have business registration. You need to have online legal documents. For example, the terms and conditions, the contract between yourself and all third parties, etc. This could be the online legal documents. You also need to have insurance in place for eventualities that may be beyond you. You also need to manage expectations very well. You need to have good access to the internet, because the business would mainly be an internet-related business. And like I've mentioned, you need to have an insurance in place, etc. Now let's talk about strengths and opportunities. You could enjoy a monopoly of this novel product idea. You could monetize. You could scale the business. The capital costs are moderate. The return on investment could be high. You could make passive income. You could create jobs. There could be added revenue for government, and wealth could be created, etc. Now let's summarize the business model. You shall basically have a platform where clients pay in money. In return, the money is paid back to them, less the administrative and other fees, in agreed time intervals. This could be weekly or after X days, maybe after every 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, or whatever you agree. And of course, terms and conditions shall apply. Now let's talk a bit about business registration. You need to choose a suitable business name. You need to register the business. You need to comply with regulatory legalities. You need to pay tax, etc. Now let's talk about some frequently asked questions. Could the business be automated? Yes, it could. The business shall mainly rely on automation. Another question: could the business be internet-based? And the answer is yes, it could. This is actually the preferred option. How could a business be scaled? You could replicate the business in multiple locations. You could have a franchise. You could have a sales funnel. You could collaborate. You could have more complementary income streams. You could license the software to interested others, etc. In which currency should transactions be made? These should be in the local currency. It avoids the complexity of ever-changing currency exchange rates, as well as minimizes complexity. Is there a need for checks and balances? Well, yes, there is. This shall prevent or minimize fraud. This shall also build client confidence. There may also be the need for a zero tolerance policy for fraud. Is there a need for research and development? Well, you need to carry out your due diligence, research the marketplace, research competitors. You need to know if there's adequate space for you in the marketplace. You need to compute realistic financial figures. Is the business model viable? Will it attract enough crowd? Is the business sustainable? Is someone already doing something similar? Could you leverage their good practices? And could you avoid their bad practices and their mistakes, etc.? Now, is there a need to fortify systems and structures? Well, definitely. If the systems and structures are robust, you shall spend less time on the business. You become more efficient. You shall have happy clients. The processes become streamlined. Trust is built and earned. Marketing becomes easier and monetization increases. You could also free resources for other uses. Always endeavor in improving your value proposition. Is there a need to incentivize clients? This could be a good idea. You could create competitions. You could give secret gifts to clients who meet certain criteria. You could gift random clients. You could gift discounts periodically. You could give commissions to those who introduce new clients, etc. Is trust of importance? Yes, definitely. It is one of the major ingredients of the business. You need to leverage integrity and transparency. Should there be a minimum deposit by clients? Yes, there should. There should also be a minimum dispensation. This helps make the business worthwhile. How could this business be funded? You could explore loans from family and friends. You could explore getting investors involved. You could do this collaboratively. You could explore crowdfunding. And of course, you could explore your savings as well, etc. Is there a need for costing and pricing? Well, the answer is yes. This is very necessary. You need to get your number crunching right. Otherwise, you could run the business at a loss. Now, will the client's interests be protected? Well, yes. Policies and procedures shall be put in place to protect the client, especially against fraud. Systems shall be transparent. Staff or clients suspected of fraudulent practices shall be forwarded for prosecution. Insurance policies shall be in place. Clients could terminate the contract at any time. However, terms and conditions shall apply. It is in the interest of the business to make clients happy and satisfied. That way, the business could grow. Adequate training shall also be given to staff. Expectation management for all parties shall adequately be explained in audio, video, and text. Now, before we go, a small disclaimer. This is basically an academic exercise. Even though the idea is apparently great, it does not guarantee anything. Please carry out your due diligence as necessary. We are not liable for any financial or other losses that may obtain. Thank you very much for your time. This is Lookman signing off. Ireo, Irekabiti.